Communication is important. Every day we have conversations with our friends, family, strangers, our barista. But imagine one day waking up and you can't have those same conversations like you used to. Imagine struggling to get your words out, or to give your opinion about something, or to tell a joke. Living with aphasia, this is a person's reality. Aphasia is a language disorder that you get when the language part of your brain is damaged. Stroke is the biggest cause, but anything that impacts this part of your brain, such as a brain injury, a brain tumor, or a brain disease such as primary progressive aphasia, all of these can cause this language disorder. It can affect all aspects of your language, getting your words out, so your expression, getting words in, your comprehension of language, reading, writing, using numbers and symbols. All of this is your language, and someone with aphasia can have difficulty in one or all of these aspects, and in varying severity. It can be hard to imagine what communicating with someone with aphasia is like unless you've met someone with aphasia. And it can be hard to appreciate just how difficult and frustrating it can be in everyday situations when you live with aphasia. Until you've met it, you just don't get it. So let me introduce you to someone with aphasia who's going to share their experience. Meet Stephen Gibbs.
Tēnā koutou. My name is Stephen Gibbs. My heritage is English, Irish, French and Spanish. I am a third generation Aotearoa New Zealander. Tēnā koutou. I woke on the 21st of January 2015, 9 years ago, with no idea that my life would be changed. I guess that is the way it always is. I was a communication person, a maths and music teacher, a musical director and choir conductor, a singer, an actor, a journalist, an editor, a marketing director, and in the event coordinator for Te Koki, the New Zealand School of Music at Victoria University. But 9 years ago, I had a stroke. My right side was paralyzed. I couldn't talk. I collapsed. We were only 10 minutes from the Whanau Regional Hospital. The doctor administered the clot-busting injection only 45 minutes after my stroke. My limbs were free, but my speech was absent, and I could not write or read. I have never heard about aphasia before. All the words were in my head, but I could not sort them or utter them. They were mixed up, like my words, like library books, and the library suffered a grade 7 earthquake. I mix up genders. I can't remember phone numbers. My syntax was all over the place. But I couldn't pronounce the words anyway because I have dyspraxia too. The formation of my lips and the teeth and tongues are wayward. As the byline for Aphasia New Zealand Aphasia Awareness Month in June says, until you met it, you can't get it. Well, I got it. Some people say that we do that too. See no moaning, they say. But with aphasia, this is every conversation, every minute of the day. The first year after my stroke, I was like a stunned mullet, as the saying goes. I was quite blasé, indifferent, and confused about my aphasia. I thought, I have a stroke. I have aphasia. Interesting. My wife and my children were more concerned about my condition than I was. I have speech therapy, curriculum, and music therapy. I went to the Soundswell Singer on the Friday in Johnsonville, a neurological choir. I joined a gabble group, a version of Toastmasters for people with aphasia, to practice their speech in a non-threatening environment. I went to a aphasia group meeting hosted by Aphasia New Zealand, and I have a very, very supportive wife and family. Every person with aphasia has a different experience. Experts say if you meet a person with aphasia, you have met one person with one instance of aphasia. So I can only speak about my aphasia journey and the consequences. I have 7 points. For me, aphasia is permanent. People say that my speech is improving all the time, but I know that it's 2 steps forward and 1.5 steps backwards. 9 years ago, and I can't join in a normal conversation or discussion. 2. Fatigue. Reading is fatiguing and talking is exhausting. Writing, it takes me 4 or 5 times longer than it used to be. It's hard enough to sort out the speaking and writing, but I have to check everything I have written or spoken or remembered 2 or 3 or 4 times. Do I write that correctly? Did I remember that phone note correctly? 3. Reclusive. It's a lot of effort to speak to other people continentally. Yeah. And I can't do it when there are a lot of people or noise around. I tend to have conversation with people who know my condition and understand my style of talking, family and friends. The aphasia groups are a godsend because we have the same problem, so we know the issues and help each other. I avoid other situations, and phone calls, I avoid them. My biography is being rewritten. If I was a half-glance empty person, I would say derailed. But I am a half-glance full person, mostly, so I said reinvented. I can't be what I was before, so I have to be something else. Now I am a busker, a cello, and an author, 2 books published, and the 3rd one is on its way. 5. Poverty. I mean that tongue in cheek, but it's interesting to follow the dilemma of two pathways. The actual path, 9 years ago, I was forcibly retired at 56. For 3 years, I have an 8-hour a week part-time job as a community aphasia advisor. I have no benefit. Apparently, aphasia is not a disability. So at 65, my Kiwi saver is, well, pathetic. The virtual path, if I have not a stroke, in the last 9 years with important contribution and government allowance, I estimate that I will be $125,000 off in my Kiwi saver. And that doesn't account the discretionary income that I could have spent for travel or luxuries. 6. Conversations and discussions. Okay, my speech has returned somewhat. So I still mix up words and the singer is screw with, or I assert random or odd words. I can speak to you now, but I have written it down. But conversations and discussion are not like that. Often I want to comment or join in this discussion, but my brain is searching for the correct way to make sense of the sentence. Usually, the conference has gone on without my contribution. It's worse if the topic is heated, politics or disagreements. I lose my words entirely. I can't dissect my deeper thoughts in discussion or conversations. It's like you are a witness in the court proceedings and you want to explain yourself fully, but a phaser are prompting a lawyer and he or she shouts, "Just answer the yes or no," and you can't. 7. Final. Most of the things I have listed above were negative consequences. But my aphasia had meant a lifestyle change, and some of that is better. I relax more. I can bike, walk, listen to music or concerts. I can spend much more time with my wife and children and grandchildren. 9 years ago, I had 1 grandchild. Now I have 7. I'm not sure if that is related to my stroke. Aphasia. Until you admit it, you just can't get it.
Hey Stephen, what about your books?
This 2 books are published now. This is June this year. 3 of books. No, you had to say the author is Stephen Gibbs. It's a pen name, not Stephen Gibbs. But yeah.
Aphasia NZ Charitable Trust is an organisation providing support, resources, information and education to anyone in New Zealand who is living with or is affected by aphasia. Our mission is to empower people with aphasia to communicate in their own communities. If you are living with or you're affected by aphasia, please reach out to us for support. Our website is www.aphasia.org.nz or free phone 0508 aphasia.